Yes, this is another one of those games I was actually going to look at regardless of fan input because I've heard a few things about this one beforehand. A Metroidvania solely produced by one person? I feel like I've been here before. But this isn't a dusty tale or cave story, it's more of a grave story. That's all I could think about, I'm sorry. A few months ago, Axiom Verge released on the PlayStation 4, and just last month it was released on Steam. $20. That's a little more than what most indie titles ask for, so is that price justifiable? It was clear to me the moment I began playing that sole developer Tom Happ was a fan of Metroid. Check out this room-to-room transition. Look at the environmental design. If H.R. Geiger were responsible for creating a Metroid game, and in some way, it sort of was if you think about it, it will look like Axiom Verge. A scientist by the name of Trace is in the middle of an experiment when a sudden explosion destroys his lab and sends the poor soul into everlasting darkness. When he wakes up, he finds himself in a strange world with no one to talk to other than a mysterious voice that requires Trace's assistance. The voice, as you find out shortly after, belongs to this gargantuan head named Elsa Nova. She requests Trace's aid in restoring her and a few other giant heads out there to full functionality so that they can help Trace stop a being known as Athetos, the one responsible for the way things are here. Axiom Verge is sort of like Metroid Prime on how it provides its full story. There's a few cutscenes here to keep things in check, but world building and context are delivered through these notes and journal entries you find through your adventure. So Axiom Verge could be as simple as one man trying to stop another man from doing what he's continuing to do, or it could be as complex as one man struggling to find some godforsaken clarity on how this world came to be in the state it's in, or who these biomechanical creatures are while constantly questioning the very existence of this surrounding world and at times even the existence of himself. It's one of those stop and think stories, the kind you discuss in a roundtable of other Axiom Verge players with coffee and cheesecake. And I'm not used to a Metroidvania having that kind of narrative. I often come across those types of plots in RPGs or heavily story-driven adventure games. For that I find Axiom Verge refreshing, but when I separate the plot from everything else, I find myself a little more confused than enlightened. When I run through a game a second or third time to get more out of a story, I want to do so because of how much I enjoyed the story the first time through, to see if there were any little nuances I may have missed to further enrich the game. Not because I didn't clearly understand everything I was told at first. A lot of my confusion involves the actual point of the story. That's the best I can put it without spoiling it, not because I don't want to, but because I'm not sure how to. Now granted, Axiom Verge is about a 12-hour game your first time through, so multiple playthroughs of this isn't asking for much in my opinion, but I still stand on how I think about that. Well, the story of Axiom Verge may be a little complex, but the gameplay certainly isn't. It's a Metroidvania game with a heavier emphasis on the Metroid aspect, and on this channel, need I say more? Okay, I can't assume you already know what I'm talking about, so let's do a quick rundown. Exploration and upgrading yourself to continue said exploration is the main focus here. It's not one-to-one Metroid on how it handles that. In fact, Axiom Verge gets a bit unusual on how it wants Trace to get across locations. Thinking you're gonna get a morph ball or a crawl feature to get through these tight passageways? Well, I don't blame you for thinking you can crawl. Trace seems perfectly capable of doing that, but no he can't. No, you get a little drone to explore those hard to reach areas for you, and it comes equipped with its own weapon. And if you're thinking you're gonna get some type of concussive explosion to get through walls like these, nope. You'll later find the means to simply glitch right past them. Glitching is a major aspect here when exploring, and it's definitely unique, if a little off-putting. That and guns. Axiom Verge loves giving you a shitload of weapons to play with. Your default weapon starts off fairly strong, but in time it becomes a weapon of mass destruction, coming fully equipped with a bunch of oldies but goodies, such as a lightning gun, a short-range pulse shotgun, a spread shot, firebombs to the chainsaws, and of course the ever-reliable flamethrower.
My favorite.
No, seriously, doesn't it feel like Tom Happ took that scene from The Fifth Element and just fucking ran with it? Well, kudos if he did, I love that movie. The weapons are my highlight. There's a few I didn't find a lot of use out of, and you gotta find them first of course, but the huge number of options always gave me something for the occasion. Trace is equipped for the job, and eventually he can move like he owns the place. With the passcode system you later find, you can even give him a Justin Bailey One Piece. You're welcome, internet. That said, the very world you travel in is probably my biggest complaint. Axiom Verge heavily borrows from Metroid, and I don't just mean the series as a whole, but rather the original Metroid, the NES game. Environments are colorful, and the graphical style is a nice little throwback to the old days, but this time the throwback unfortunately comes with some of its faults. Things start to look familiar after a while, and the copy-paste design gets almost as bad as the original Metroid. You really notice that in those secret glitch areas. Axiom Verge by default is already better than the original Metroid on how it handles progression because it sports an actual map feature, and that works just fine. But you know what I miss here? Warp points. Something to teleport me from one major area to the next. A feature common in modern Castlevania titles to keep the pace up. The best thing this game has for that is this giant head acting like a glorified train to those areas. It's better than nothing for sure, but without quick jumps you're in for the long haul across areas you've already visited a bunch of times, and at some point that was the standard for Metroidvanias, I understand. But since then, I've played a bunch of others that streamline progression without losing its sense of exploration or fun for that matter. The visuals were also a little on the bleak side as well, and I get that was most likely the point. This world isn't supposed to be all sunshine and rainbows. I mean, do you see this shit right here? Metroid 1 certainly wasn't happy-go-lucky, but that game also lacked diversity, and Axiom Verge regrettably follows suit. Sometimes I feel like I'm just looking at the same graphical blocks that only change in color. It's organic in some places, I love how bizarre this place looks, but there's not enough of this to keep me interested. I didn't think an unknown world of mysterious and bizarre architecture could feel so sterile. I feel I've played better Metroidvanias for cheaper cost to boot, but Axiom Verge isn't bad on its own, and I think that really means something when only one guy made the whole damn thing. Again, the weapons were the highlight for me. It's remarkably fun just blasting the shit out of things with all the new tools you can use, and it does help mitigate the tiresome treks through each of the different worlds. Just not enough in this case. I'm sure this is something I'll revisit later, and maybe then I'll find something else to enjoy that I didn't see before. I have my share of games I didn't think much of at first, but ended up loving them in the long run. Honestly, you never know with this sort of genre. I guess it's one of the reasons why I like it so much. But as I leave one Metroidvania, another one waves hi to me in the distance. Some of you have waited long enough, so I'm happy to say that next time I'm looking at the Shantae series. Rejoice, fellow Shantae fans! But I can't guarantee that video will be ready by next week for two reasons. One, Arkham Knight. That game is out now at the point of this upload. I just don't want to get my Batman fix. I need to get my Batman fix. I'll be sure to review that game soon afterwards as well. And two, Too Many Games, that's this weekend, so I hope a lot of you guys are coming over for that, and don't forget, on the 27th I have my own panel at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you got questions, you bring your ass over and ask them there. In the meantime, and as always, thank you guys for watching, have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.